Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and if you haven't noticed already, today we are taking a look at the FX Impact M3 that I got from Utah Air Guns, and we're going to be talking about this particular air rifle, what my plans are for it, and why I think this is the next serious contender for small bore competition. Okay, so before we get into the weeds of this conversation, I want to first say that I am not an air rifle expert. I shot PCPs over the years off and on, but I am far from an expert. When I knew I wanted to get something like this, my first thought was Utah Air Guns. Those guys have always been great. So in particular about this FX Impact that I have right here, it is the M3, and like I said, it is in the 25 caliber. Now I am shooting the 25.4 grain FX pellets. So the very first thing we need to talk about is accuracy. I shot this through the scope cam at 50 yards at an ARA target card, and check out these groups. Not bad. Let's give her a touch right. No! No! Nice. So you saw there, this thing's basically shooting in the .3s, and I think that could be better. Like I said, I'm not an air gun aficionado. I'm not an expert. It's shooting pretty lights out for me, and honestly, I'm not gonna stay with the pellets very long. I want the higher BC stuff and the slugs. So this is very accurate. The next thing we need to talk about is consistency. Now with rimfire, you're looking at, powder plus primer and chamber and a lot of different variables there. Here, that is all left up to you. And now I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details because there's just so much information out there on the Impact M3. If you want to know anything technically about this rifle, any one of the bigger YouTubers, Up North Air Gunner, just any of those guys, they know a ton of information about these, and you're going to get much better technically sound information from them than I'm going to give you. But I will tell you, it has power wheels, which basically allow you to adjust the power settings of the rifle, so you can really tune this to whatever velocity you want. But the great thing is the gun's super consistent. That's a 10-shot string, and yeah, you're reading that right, 1 SD. Now the extreme spread, which is not showing you because on the magneto speed it's either SD or ES, that is 3. And for you guys that don't know, what I'm talking about when I'm saying SD is standard deviation, which is a deviation shot to shot in a string. Standard deviation of 1 would mean that my shots are no more than 1 feet per second apart on average. Now ES, or extreme spread, that's the total spread of velocities during the entire string of fire. So if you shoot 10 rounds, one's 880 and one is 890, then your extreme spread would be 10. For rimfire stuff, that would be amazing. This shot a 3 ES. I'm excited to see 3 SD on most of my rimfire setups. So the fact that this gun is consistent at that level really means a lot to me as a competitor. And if you're a competition-minded guy, that should mean a lot to you, because you've got something where you're in total control of the velocity and with a very, very, very consistent setup out of this rifle. If you look at the trend of what's been going on, they keep making higher and higher BC slugs, and these are all still hollow points. If one of these guys really buckled down and said, look, we don't care about the hunting aspect, let's make a slug for this that we can push relatively fast, somewhere around 1,000 feet per second in a 22 caliber range, that was a round nose or just inherently had a higher BC due to its shape, then that would be killer, because right now, honestly, they're not very far from 22 long rifle performance. To give you a good comparison there, let's say at 200 yards, that my rimfire rifle, it requires 6.5 mils to hit a 200-yard target. And if I put a 5-mile-an-hour crosswind at 90 degrees in there, I'm gonna be 0.9. So just under 1 mil of wind hold off the target, right? So if we take a 34 grain, and I'm not gonna name the brand or anything like that, 22 caliber slug with a BC of 0.09, which is much less than a 22, but it's much closer than pellets and the other things have been in the past. And we push that at 980 feet per second. Not the 1100 that my precision rimfire shooting, but 980. We bump up, we're about 2 more mils on the hold, so we gotta hold higher 2 mils, but the wind is only 1.3. So we're about 3.5 tenths different in wind hold. That's getting pretty close. And if you guys haven't noticed already, NRL 22 has an air rifle class. So I don't think we're very far from getting some really crazy good results, because those numbers that we talked about before, those are with hollow points. If that gets optimized for target shooting, for competition, for NRL 22, those boys better watch out, because I'm telling you what, this is no slouch. This gun is consistent, it's accurate, it has good support. Now, I'm not saying you need to buy FX and you need to buy it from Utah Air Guns, but I've had a really good experience with this. The guys over at Utah Air Guns, they're not a wholesaler. You can call those guys up, because guess what? They're competitive shooters too. They competitively shoot air rifles, they hunt with air rifles, they have a crazy amount of knowledge, and they know what you're trying to do. You can go to these other places that are basically just a shipping warehouse and see what kind of support you get from them. Or you can go back to somewhere like Utah and get help when you need it. Because guys, I'm telling you, if you're getting into this for the first time, there's a ton of information out there, but sometimes you just need to call someone. And when you want to call someone, you really hope that the other person that picks up the line knows what the heck they're talking about, and those guys do. So I've rambled on quite a bit. We're gonna shoot this a little bit more. I'm gonna put this on some props. I'm just gonna do some playing around, do a little bit of shooting a steel with this, do that on camera so you guys can see how easy this gun is to manipulate. This rifle is currently 25 cal, but if we wanted to shoot slugs for like target shooting in 22, we could do that with a barrel change. If we wanted to shoot 30 cal and shoot some really heavy slugs out there for hunting, we could do that very easily. And you're not having to buy a new rifle every time. You have one platform, extremely modular, and I really like that about this. Let's see if we can hit at 100. There it is. Left edge at 100. Let's go out for the grenade. Yeah, buddy. Small spinner. Barely got him. Oh, there it is. Let's see if we can hit something at 150. I've got another KYL that's past 130 yard KYL at 150, and I've got a big plate. So I think we can use that big old plate out there to get our dope. I'm gonna start at 8 mils and just see how that goes. Okay, looked impact good. Wind call, it was just left. Ooh, maybe a hair low. Oh, got it. So yeah, we're hair low. Got it again. Wow, the ballistics are crazy on this. I'm over 9 mils. Let's go and adjust. I don't keep having to hold high. We're a touch high there. We're going to come down a tenth. All right, let's push our luck and see if we can hit the 2-incher. Oh, got it right on the top. We must still be a little high. We'll come down another tenth. Oh, barely nicked that. That was not a great shot. Oh, off right. And we're out of ammo. But yeah, guys, there's lots of reasons that you might want something like this. If you haven't noticed just how quiet this is, like, you could shoot this just about anywhere. Once you get through the initial setup cost of buying the rifle and an air source, then it's pretty cheap. Like I said, I didn't want to get hugely into the specs things. I just hope that you guys realize how close they are to being a real contender for what's going to be the future of small bore competition. Because tell you what, if I couldn't use a powder burner, there's no question in my mind, 22 cal slug slinging M3 is where I would be. We're going to be doing a lot more videos with this as this kind of goes through its paces. We're going to push these pellets a little bit further than what we're going to today. We're going to get into some slugs on the 25 cal. Eventually we're going to be on the 22 caliber side of things, looking for that real high BC that we talked about and trying to get this thing to really perform. Now, overall right now, will this beat a precision rimfire out to distance? No, because the BC of the 22 is just stomping this, and the muzzle velocity is stomping this. So, you know, with what you're doing at 200-300 yards with this, you're doing it 400 and 500 yards with a 22 long rifle. They don't lack much, guys. They really don't, and that's why I have one. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge precision rimfire nut, but this is something that really perks my interest, and I think this is something that you're going to see skyrocket in the near future. And personally, I'm taking this out to NRL 22 this upcoming year, and I'm gonna try and win some matches with this thing. But as always, guys, for everyone supporting the channel, for the guys over there at Utah Air Guns, for all the help you've given me, FX has been super helpful. These are all great people, a really great industry to get into, and you like to geek out on the stuff you don't have control of on the rimfire game, then grab yourself an air rifle. So as always, I appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.